Okay, David, this is your October 27th, 2022 lesson. Okay, this swing's way better, I'll tell you that, just with a natural eye. It's way better than it's ever been. And I think any problems you're having is kind of between the ears, like getting in your own way. But let's go through and get really picky here. You know, because any additional unneeded movements increases the inconsistency and makes the repeatability more difficult. So if there's extra movements, we still want to clean those up and get rid of them. But it's not a point where we back up the truck and try to install somebody else's swing. It's not that. What we're going to do is look at unneeded movements. Okay, so here's the takeaway. Okay, this is really good. See how the toe of the club is more or less up? That gives the correct forearm rotation. The little concern I have is, as before, the butt of the club is here, so we have a little throwing action. So if you have the club out here, you're moving it away. The butt of the club's going this way, so it's kind of going this way. If I just rotate my shoulders, where's the butt of the club coming? It's going slightly here, and it's getting inside. What I like is here. Now it's deep enough. Okay, now you can get by with this, and you know, taking an exaggeration. If you have it clear out here, you lose connection and everything. You have it semi out here, but you have to race to get this thing, the butt of the club, deep enough. Otherwise, we're going to come in steep. So it's a small thing, and we'll see if you can compensate for it. But to be honest, you're basically shoving the butt of the club out here, unneeded movement. And it might be sometimes the butt of the club is 6 inches out, sometimes it's only 2. Inconsistency with how much you're losing the connection will cause inconsistency with the ball strike. Okay, but let's see, it might be minor. Here's the great thing. Okay, so you're actually now turning in a barrel. You know, you're breaking the plane with the right butt cheek there, which is really good. I like the shaft is parallel your toe line. I just like to see it over your toe line, but it's really good, right? I mean, didn't you start with it just drag it inside and dump it over here? So huge change, all for the better. Okay, and we don't have any head movement in that first thing. If I remember right, we had some, even at this stage, we had some head movement. So the head is dead still. It's really good. Okay, so that's position 2. That's good. And look, see, the advantage of that is it's all on plane. See how that is? You don't have to make any adjustments. Now, as you get up, you know, you get slightly, you know, it's directly on plane. It's parallel to the yellow lines. Then see how it gets a little steeper here? This is old programming. But what's happening is that elbow is going there at the end here. It should just go fold under like this. Yeah, so you got watch, the elbow goes a little like that. Now look what happens when the elbow goes like that. This is small, but it's going the wrong direction. We want it, if anything, we want it.
That is one hard thing for me to see that. Yeah, I don't have that flat.
Yeah, see
wrist.
Yeah, right. So you got to work on that. That'll help it get on plane. Yeah. But you used to have this thing back here, but see how, you know, I'd like to see you air off that armpit a little more, but this angle is brilliant. That's like Adam Scott's. It's like 15%, maybe, or 15 degrees, maybe less. It's really good. Okay, so you get to the top. Now here's just old program. Watch the knob of your elbow. See, I just like to see this stop and like this, and then you remain shallow, because as you see, trust me, you can get by with this, but it's requiring now you shallow it out. Okay, so this, as you start down, yeah, so you're shallowing it from the start, which is good. See how it's getting closer to parallel immediately? That's really good. And see how the butt of the club, this is brilliant. The butt of the club is going straight at the ball. Watch it, the movement. So we don't have any of this thing, you know, dumping it over the top thing. So the butt of the club going at the ball is really good. And look at this stage. What have you done to David? Your head's in the exact spot it should be. It's really good. Okay. So as you come down, you know, you're working, try to get it shallow, and then don't quite it shallow it out. See how it's not. We want a little under that plane, because we want it. Here's the checkpoint, right? We want the shaft of the club right along the forearm, and see how it's not. It's above. Okay, it's small.
If I can get that wrist, and it falls right in.
Absolutely, absolutely. But here's the deal: is it might be this degree offset might be okay, because this one, where the club head is slightly inside your hands, is perfect. Okay, so when it gets exactly parallel, it's getting a little outside, so I'd like to see a little more on there. The butt's coming away from the wall a bit. Okay, okay. Okay, so then when you come down here, and typically all good players, when they're up here, there's a little, so your head will go down, but yours kind of stays there like this instead of here, and then when they post up here, then their head comes back up, and you know, that's using ground effects without trying to.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're in here, and then it's pivot this, you know, get this action going, because your head doesn't come up, and your butt doesn't go against the back wall. Now here's the good thing: the butt's rotating. Yeah. So here you are at impact, and you know, at this stage, I'm not really that hung up on getting a major X factor, but I am hung up on how that left cheek is going. Right? You know, so we don't need to be too double cheeked at impact. You know, that's later, but we do need to be pushing that stool over. So even if your shoulders and hips are stacked, we want that thing to rotate out of the way.
You know, how many times I've tried to work on that, and I can, you know, there's a cabinet in the garage. I stand up. It's easy. Both.
Okay, so we just went through the advantage of having, like, you know, not a rigid butt board, but something that will give. And I have a stool that I converted. You can do a cheap TV table and you know, clamp some boards to it. But I like the idea that you can hear it click on the tile or patio surface. And you mentioned, well, I do it all the time with the kitchen table. Well, that's because you're not hitting, and we have a continuous forward bend, the Sun City drive-by, and so we were talking, if you keep the relationship between the ball and the tuft of grass right under the ball, keep that relationship throughout the swing, that will keep your head from, you know, flying by the ball. I think it's a good drill, and I think you can actually play with it. So back to your swing. And like I said, at this point, let's not be overly concerned about the X factor. I'm really concerned about closing this gap. See, that left cheek should be beyond the wall. So if you're practicing with the cabinet, you can't get to that spot. But anyway, so now when you come through, now, yeah, this is interesting too. So your head is fine till here. Not going to worry about it. It's fine because it's through impact, and this is just a follow through. And this head movement is because you're exaggerating this shoulder tilt, which is really good. Yes, really good. And see how you exit on plane? That's really good. You know, and then, you know, coming through here fine. You know, you never got on your toe before, and you're on your toe now. I think it's really good. Okay, let's look at the other dimension. Oops. Okay, so yeah. Okay, so grip looks good. 6-iron maybe a little back, right? Might be camera angle, but you might want to check that because that's a back, actually further back than even a wedge. A wedge is in the middle of the stance. 6-iron should be about like that. So you might, you know, that might explain some things, but yeah, double check that. Really good takeaway. The head has not moved. Got rid of the slide. That's really good. Okay, so here's your top position. Great. The knee is caved in, pointing behind the ball, trying to point. Right hip is back. We can get by with a head movement like that as long as we keep it there and don't slide by. And you know, the left shoulder is close enough behind the ball. You know, we could use a little more turn, but that's fine. That's fine. Okay, so then as you start down, so lower body starts early, which is great. Knee gets outside the line, which is good. Now you turn through and okay, so then you got the scooparoo, and here, let me stop this. Okay, I'm just starting to record again. Let me backtrack to what I said before is, okay, so the reason that reset causes a V here in the impact area, and it's caused by you haven't totally cleared that left hip, and the belt buckle should be up here at that cross. Okay, the advantage of clearing the hips like Adam Scott is, that V becomes like an elongated U, so it gives you more repeatability, more consistency, and better direction. So I'd say your #1 mission is to work on the lower body. That would be my focus. Everything else is spot on. I mean, I wouldn't want to change anything. Okay. The only thing okay, so let me backtrack on that just a bit. The thing that's causing you trauma, #1 thing, is you still got belly to the ball. Okay. The thing that increases the inconsistency is you're right on the edge of being too steep. And I believe under pressure we get shorter and quicker, and you end up steep, and it's all. So when we practice, when it doesn't count, we have to really work on being really shallow, because short and quick in the under pressure is that. So number one thing, work on you know, pushing that bar stool back. And then number two is, this is, don't get me wrong, this is better than it's ever been, but we got another like 5%, because I'd rather see it like this. So if you get short and quick, it's going to be on plane. You're steep and relying on a late shallowing and all. So I'd like to see here, where it's pointed right here, here,